thank you for joining us this evening. First up, ma'am, I want to ask you, what is your take on this social media ban that the state of Andhra Pradesh is mulling, and how viable do you think this is as far as the imposition of this is concerned in practicality?
Very valid question, Ayuna. It's something that we all understand that online crimes against children have been on the rise, and that is definitely a matter of huge concern. While we have also seen, complaints up to 177,000 odd complaints were filed even in 2023. When you look at statistics of crimes against children, especially in the digital space. Therefore, these kind of restrictions or these kind of regulations are, being debated not only in India but across the world. And my personal view on this is that while regulation is good when it comes to, say, for example, data protection, we just have a new law in India currently. We've had the DPDP Act, which is recently enacted, where parental consent, a verifiable parental consent will be required in order to collect and process any child-related data, be it social media platforms or any other, platforms where the children's data is collected and processed. Now, that is a good measure, definitely, and we are hoping a lot of crimes against children will be, curtailed with that. As far as the total ban is concerned, currently this issue is something which could really create ripples, because if you look at the constitutionality of that, or the fact that it may be challenged in any court, it could be ultra virus. Particularly because if you look at the union list and list 1, if you see entry 31 or the entry 97 in particular, you will see that this social media platforms, internet, broadband comes under such union list as such. So any kind of bans per se throughout India, the parliament alone has the final say on that, and how it can be actually brought into force and enforced later through regulations. Now, that's why in my personal view, that a fundamental right is not only protecting adults in the country, but also children. When we say children, Article 14 of the Constitution, 19, 21 of the Constitution of India, there are clear fundamental rights even children have. Therefore, this could be, brought as a matter of challenge, and particularly with the proportionality test, if you're placing a restriction on a ban or any kind of embargo and access to internet or even social media only, that itself could be, challenged and, a matter of whereas the sentiment, the motive is correct, the intention is correct to safeguard children's rights. In my view, the courts interpret fundamental rights of citizens, including children, in light of our Convention on the Rights of the Child, to which India is a signatory in particular. And if we look at even otherwise, when we talk about not just substantive law, I'm talking about the enforcement aspect. You will appreciate that, technologically we have software today, we have VPNs and other technologies through which IP addresses or the place of access can actually be spoofed or circumvented. So even the inherent nature of internet is such that, it would be difficult to enforce the law, even if it be enacted. So state is one aspect, whether a state alone can do it, because a state alone may not, under Indian constitutional law, validly do it unless the parliament takes it up as a central law. That's my take on it. But then I do have a solution that I think, in my considered view, could be a factor that they could consider, any legislative body could consider, or a government body could consider, which is keeping in mind the best interest of the children. Now, what that would mean is probably putting stricter controls to, have their privacy intact, safeguard their rights, at the same time, prevent any kind of harms to children. So with age-specific verifications, with DPDP compliance, and also, monitoring safety by design, models, whether it's apps or it's social media, and increasing the accountability of these platforms through repute abuse buttons and grievance redressals. One could just flag, the relevant issue, and immediate, action could follow. And having really dealt with these
Yes.
cases, I know that we've been able to manage to even bring down particular web pages which were defamatory or containing online sexual abuse content or cyberbullying content, deep
Yes.
fakes, by just flagging the issue and reporting it to the social media platforms through grievance redressal processes. So, in my view, if we increase platform accountability, and if we increase safety by design approach in terms of how children can validly access the internet, and have their social media accounts where they can have civic participation, autonomy, they can have education or
Yes.
freedom of expression, at the same time remain safe online. I think we have to
Absolutely,
go a
yes.
balanced and a harmonious view. I think that alone should be in harmony with the Convention on Rights of the Child, looking at it
Right.
internationally, right? However,
Right,
just one more comment that,
Right,
Malaysia,
Miss
France,
Seth,
other countries.
we echo with what you're saying. I'm sorry to cut you there in between, but just a little bit,
That's okay.
a
That's
little bit
fine.
short on time. But we leave it at that, viewers. That is the big trending story of the day.